What a beautiful day. We've made it as far as April. Andover viewers, here we are. Beautiful, beautiful day in Andover. As I say, early April. It'll soon be Easter. So we're going to bring you some sounds and sights of the area. Hopefully we can go and find you some spring lambs and all that sort of stuff, and daffodils. It's, as I say, it's very, very sort of Eastery at the moment. So what's on the show this week, Steve? Well, I tell you what's on the show this week. We're bringing you the interviews we did over at the Anvil last week, which was great fun. We've got all those old-time 60s rock and rollers. We've got Freddie of Freddie and the Dreamers. We've got Fontana and the Mindbenders. And we've got Peter Noone, who is with Herman's Hermit. So we'll be bringing you those interviews throughout the show. So they're quite interesting, quite good fun. Great guys too. So keep a lookout for those. But first, we're back in Ludgershall, and in Ludgershall is one of the most wonderful garden centres I've seen, run by a couple of brothers there, and the family go back through the generations in Ludgershall for a few years, so that's really interesting. But there's a good guy called Dennis Fuller. Dennis is a mate of theirs, and now he's a mate of ours, and Dennis said, oh, poor Al, he's not very well, he's had the flu this week, so I'm going to do this piece, so here he is. Here's Dennis Fuller at the Ludgershall Garden Centre. Hope you enjoy it. Great sights, great fish too. So see you later. And happy Easter, which is coming up shortly. Take it away, Steve.
Hello, I'm Dennis Fuller. I recently moved to this area from a long way away, as you can probably tell by the accent. And if you're anything like me, you probably love gardening. You love lying in the garden. But I know nothing whatsoever about gardening. Now, I was very fortunate. I found this little place in a village called Ludgershall, which is a family-run business, been here since 1928 apparently, and they know everything about gardening. Not only that, they're happy to share their knowledge. Come with me, I'll take you on a tour. This is the main entrance to the garden centre, and as you can see, a very, very extensive range. Basically everything you need. All the little primroses. Nice little touch last week was I was down here and it was Mothering Sunday, and they actually had things that the kids could buy for 50p. Always nice that. As I say, family-run business. There's the seed potatoes. I've just bought £7 of those. All I've got to do now is find somebody to put them in. I'll be good at eating them and harvesting them, but I'm not too good at digging the holes. Tomato plants there. All sorts of things. Lots and lots of little bedding plants I know nothing about, but I know a man who does. Let's go on through to the shop. Again, lovely range of things in here, all the seeds, all the instructions, everything you need, and they'll happily tell you what to put and where, because you just don't want to clog it up. I just bought myself some wildflower seeds, because I've got an area of the garden that's pretty wild, basically all of it, so I'm just going to throw those down, and they reckon if about 20% of those come up, I should have a garden full of colour. There's all the seeds and all the bulbs, of course. I think it's a bit early for bulbs. I don't know. We'll find out about that later on. And, of course, all the other appliances you need. Things like hoses, hose locks, and the tools in the corner. Another nice little touch down here, fruit and veg. Fresh fruit and veg as well. Nearly had trouble saying that, but don't worry. Even eggs. So you can come down here, do a bit of shopping, and then, of course, if you're really in trouble, the cut flowers. What woman can resist cut flowers? They have a lady comes down here on Sunday mornings, apparently. She'll do you up bouquets, sprays, whatever you need, and, of course, wreaths. Hope you don't need them, but it's very handy to know where you can get them from. Walking through from the shop, that's Rex there, one of the owners, ignore him. Very much a family-run business. Mr. Watton Senior, who tells me he's over 64. We think he's about 75, actually, but he won't admit to it. Been here since 1928, as I say, and they've just grown and grown. Lots and lots of houseplants in here. Nice little display as well, the goldfish in there and the cactus, I know what they are. The houseplants, apparently, I was talking to Gary earlier on, another one of the owners. These azaleas, although they should be kept indoors at the moment because they don't like frost, can be put outside. So, of course, they're always good value for money and gives you a nice bit of colour in the garden. I know what they are. They are chrysanthemums. I do know that, but I know very little else. That's a rubber plant, I can recognise that. And, of course, some nice things there, nice pots. That's something that's quite interesting. If you're stuck for a present for somebody, get them a token. They can come down here and spend their money. And they can spend it wisely. They can get a bit of advice and buy the right things, put them in the right places. It's always very annoying when you actually buy something and find it doesn't grow and they say, well, the soil's wrong. But if you ask them, they'll tell you before you go in. This is something else I like. This is where they grow all their own seeds and their little cuttings and things. I know they're geraniums. They're hanging baskets. They're just going to be the fuchsia type. So obviously they'd be put out, I don't know, month or so's time. Again, more geraniums here. This is young Gary, one of the members of the Watton family. Gary is supposedly making hanging baskets. Even I can recognise those. Gary, what sort of things did you put in these hanging baskets then?
Well, lobelia. That's the mixed lobelia. Blue, white with the blue eye.
I thought they were all the same colour.
No, they're all mixture. Fuchsias, geraniums, verbenas, safrinas, helichrysum, catmint.
Sounds like something you should go to the doctors with, doesn't it, most of it? So what do you actually put in there? This is moss.
Yeah.
As I say, my knowledge of gardening is not very high, but even I can recognise moss, because I've got loads of it on my lawn. Do you want to buy some?
No, we've got plenty.
Thank you very much. Never mind, we'll come round and cut the grass. You can have the moss for nothing. So you just put this dirt in here?
Yeah, that's compost with a slow-release fertiliser, Osmocote, which keeps them going all summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that will actually keep those things going all summer?
Yeah.
So how many sort of plants do you put in there, and how much would that cost me to buy it?
Well, we put about 15 plants in there, and it would cost about £14, roughly.
Right, so then all you got to do, once we collect that from here, you make these things and we collect them at the right time. Don't put them out and the frost kills them off. I know frost is not good for plants.
Collect them at the end of May.
Collect them at the end of May. Now, this thing just hangs up, hanging baskets. So you've got to put these hooks on there and hang it up. Now, that means I've got to make a trip to the DIY shop.
No, you haven't. We've got it all here.
What, the
We've
hooks?
got the brackets, the screws, the raw plugs, everything.
Do you put them up as well?
No, we don't.
Oh, shame. Never mind.
We'll have to get the missus to put them up.
She probably would as well, make a better job of it than me. So that's the hanging baskets. And these things, are obviously, that you grow all these from seed, Gary, yeah?
Yeah.
And that's all the fuchsias, the geraniums, and everything else that goes
Everything
in there.
that goes into baskets, yeah.
How many hanging baskets do you do a year?
Oh, about 400 or 500.
And you
roughly.
look after that particular department?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have to do anything else here? I mean, because hanging baskets, I suppose you're not
Well,
very
yeah.
busy with them in December.
No, well, there's all the Christmas stuff, Christmas trees, and yeah.
I actually bought a Christmas tree from you last year, I remember, because that was the first year I'd had one where the needles didn't drop, because everyone hates a Christmas tree. When you get to Boxing Day, you all hate it, because most of it has ended up either in your slippers or under your toenails. Now, I came down here, and Gary very kindly said there's a tree called a Nordman, which has got the long needles that don't drop. And, of course, I used to make the same mistake as most people, put it in a bucket, load of stones next to a radiator, and, of course, all the needles dropped off, and by Christmas Day, it looked like a blooming pipe cleaner. But these Nordmans are fantastic. And, of course, then Gary advised me what to do with the Christmas tree. What do you do with them?
Well, I treat them like cut flowers, give them water.
Every day?
Pint or two of water every day, yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll last all over Christmas.
So if I said to my wife, you should treat me like a cut flower and give me a pint or two of beer every day, do you think it'd work?
Yeah, I think it would work. Yeah.
I'll give it a try. Thanks, Gary. Let's move on. What have we got here, Gary?
Well, that's all your small conifers, unanimous, hebes, just small conifers and shrubs.
You do realise I'll have forgotten all these names by the time I leave here, don't you?
Yeah.
But you will advise me if I wanted to plant, say I wanted to plant a little sort of shrub garden and I didn't know what I was doing, because I don't know what I'm doing. I know for a fact that the soil around my place is chalky. The only reason I know that is because I've dug up loads of it. But what would these grow all right in chalk?
Yeah, all of this will grow on chalk, yeah. No bother one, yeah.
Right. The trouble with this place is it's so big it takes ages to see it. But the nice little addition they made. When did you put that tea room in?
2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah. It's always nice to sort of do a bit of shopping at your leisure and then be able to go and have a nice cup of tea. I was really impressed. I went down there a week or so ago. The lady made me a wonderful ham sandwich with homemade chutney, and she makes marmalade as well. And of course, very much a family thing, because her daughter works here as well, doesn't she?
Yeah.
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 And it's, you spend most of your time in the tea room, according to Rex.
No, not really. We don't know.
What have we got down here? These, again, are all conifers type things, aren't
conifers, yeah.
they? Yeah. What about these? They're obviously not conifers. They're trees of some description. What do we have here?
Acers, well, all sorts of shrubs.
All sorts of shrubs. I knew I'd catch him on something. He obviously knows. Terrible thing talking into a microphone and the camera, isn't it? But these, again, these are all basically shrubs this side, yeah?
Yeah.
And yet you would tell us the right times. Now that looks quite interesting. What's that thing sticking up there? It just looks like just a spindle. What is it?
Well, it's a very rare plant.
Let's go. Can we go down and have a look at this one?
It's an aralia. It's got a 4-foot leaf on it.
A 4-foot leaf?
4-foot leaf on it.
What, just the one?
No. Got plenty of leaves, but 4 foot in diameter.
A bit like a palm tree, really, then.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a shame we don't get the weather for it, isn't it? Right. So how much would that cost then?
I'm not sure.
£25?
£13.
£13. The one good thing about moving out into the country is it's a blooming sight cheaper than where I used to live. I used to live in a lovely place called Fulham. Wonderful place. Garden centres there, terrific. I know the Christmas trees were about £55 up there, and I moved down here and I actually bought this wonderful Nordman from you, which cost me £16. Matter of fact, I've still got it. You don't want it back, do you?
No.
You can't get rid of the things, can you? Never mind. These again, these are all the shrubs down here, yeah?
Yeah.
And I've seen something I recognise, they're rhododendrons.
That's right, but they don't grow very well around here on chalk. You've got to stick them in a tub.
Yeah, so they'd be all right in a tub, but not terribly good in the garden. Yeah?
No, no good in the garden at all.
Rather like myself. I'm not too bad in the lounge, but I'm no good in the garden at all. But I do look all right when I'm laid out there with a bottle of cold beer in the summer. What about this here, Gary? What have we got here?
Viburnums of all descriptions.
But again, these are all basically sort of shrubs, yeah?
Yeah, yeah. Easy to grow, no problem, yeah.
Yeah. Do you sell this sort of hedging? I mean, I've always wanted some hedging around around my place. Is it easy to grow?
Yeah, that's Castlewell and Golds.
So how long would that take to grow a hedge, say, of that thickness, of that height?
3 years.
Really?
About 3
so
years,
how
yeah.
are they when you put them in then?
They'll grow about 2'6" a year.
Oh right, and you just cut them back and...
Keep them pruned and
Right.
clipped, yeah.
These, I presume, are all the trees, because I'm cheating a little bit. I'm pretending I've not been here before, but I have actually spent quite a few weekends here. And this is how I can be sort of friendly with Gary, Rex and Mr. Watton Senior, because they've been tremendously helpful to me. As I said earlier on, at the risk of sounding boring, I'm not very good at gardening. We can also see what happened to the Christmas trees you don't sell. You got them planted.
That's right.
Waste not, want not. I don't blame you, man, after my own heart. What have we got here? Fruit trees?
Yeah, all the fruit trees. Well, every fruit tree you can think of.
Well, I'm particularly partial of the old-fashioned fruit trees, the green gauge and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
do
we've
they
got
still
green
sell?
gauges, damsons. Not so much, but we do sell the odd ones, yeah.
So years ago when I was a kid, there was a lady down our road used to make damson jam and green gauge jam. You just don't see it anymore, do you? And I don't know if it's just the childhood memories, but it always seemed to taste so much better than all this stuff that you buy that's processed. But I'm not going to get into that, Gary, actually, because I should imagine there's a bit of hard work involved in growing fruit, isn't there? You've got to prune them and...
Well, yeah.
But I expect you know a man that could come around and do that for me.
Yeah.
I'm sure you do, yeah. Thanks, Gary. Let's wander on through here. Where are we going next? Come on. Let's go on this guided tour. Now, that's a viburnum, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know that because I can read. I'm not very good at gardening, but I can read.
Yeah.
Always makes you feel good when you see the magnolias out. It's all, you always think, well, spring's here, winter's gone, don't you?
Summer's coming, yeah.
Because I should imagine winter's a bit of a nightmare for you guys, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it is.
How do you protect all this stuff from frost if it's outside?
Well, it stays out here. Generally, we bring a bit in. Some of the evergreen stuff we bring in. But generally, it's got to take its chances out here, like in the garden.
Yeah, I suppose there's not really a lot of point in keeping it in the greenhouse if it's going to have to go in the garden anyway. It's going to have to learn to fend for itself.
That's right.
Rather like my mum said when she kicked me out. I was only about 26 as well. I was quite upset about that. Never mind.
We're more susceptible to losses because you get the whole root ball frozen, you see. Whereas
Yeah.
in the garden, you're only going to get the top frozen, so...
Right. But this Magnolia Betty, that's a rather small, dense bush with very large purplish white flowers and an excellent hybrid, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you're reading that.
That's
Dennis.
right, I had to read that. I told you before, my knowledge of gardening is not very good at all. I see you've got the Christmas trees there. You've still got a few.
Yeah, we have one or two potted ones left.
Holding on to them,
Yeah.
and they still got. I mean, what's its needles on them as well?
Yeah,
I expected somebody coming along and made you an offer, you'd sell them, wouldn't you?
I would. Yeah.
What's going to happen to them? You're going to plant them outside?
No, I'll pot them up or plant them outside.
Yeah, I suppose. Actually, I've always thought about that. When you buy a Christmas tree, people complain about it, you know, but you can actually buy a Christmas tree. What are the potted ones with a root? About a tenner?
About £10, £12.
Yeah, I mean, you've
Which
actually...
makes more sense.
Yeah, you've got the thing for the house, and I mean, you can dig that up every year, yeah?
That's right, yeah.
And so long as you put it back in, what do you put in? A bit of bone meal or something?
Yeah, bone meal.
I'm learning about gardening since I've got to know Gary. He tells me an awful lot. But I found it's easier to actually, instead of coming down here spending money, if you meet Gary in the pub, you can get all this information for nothing, you see, and then you don't have to spend your money. It does cost you the odd pint of bitter, because as you can see by the stomach, he does like the odd pint of bitter. Actually, I've got to tell you, though, getting away from gardening, Gary's everyone's hero at the moment. He's given up smoking. He's gone from 60 a day to nothing, but they do tell me that he's eating about 14 pounds of wine gums I mean, you know my place. I've got a porch outside, and it's the old picture postcard thing, in it. We all want sort of pretty roses growing over the top. If I was to put them in now, when would I actually see some flowers?
You'd see them in the end of June.
The end of June, just a few weeks away.
Yeah. End of June, July.
And how much do they go for? What sort of price?
About £4.50.
Is it all?
Climbers, yeah.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. I didn't know that, actually. I might... I'll tell you what, I won't charge you a fee. Perhaps I can have it in roses. So that means I've got 2 rose bushes. Right,
Car insurance prices are down at Swinton. Contact your local branch for a quote.
When Elle magazine wants great hair shots, who do they go to? Vidal Sassoon. Vidal Sassoon's water-based conditioners leave your hair feeling clean, silky, and full of life. The look is Elle. The hair is Vidal Sassoon.
Isn't it strange? For years we've demonstrated how to create the perfect mint with pure white smoothness, sublime shape, and the refreshing cool air supplied by the whole. And yet other mints still model themselves on the bit Polo remove. Polo, the classic mint.
The delicate eye area is the first place you notice fine lines. But what can we do about it? Clinical tests prove this eye gel from Oil of Ulay is highly effective. Gently massaged in, the combination of provitamin B5, soothing cucumber extract and witch hazel instantly begins to reduce the appearance of fine lines, puffiness and even dark circles. You'll notice the difference with your own eyes. And the name? Eye Contour Gel, Oil of Ulay's most effective eye care ever.
When crunchy roast nuts and delicious smooth chocolates collide inside M&M's, prepare for a taste explosion!
Well, Freddie, what are you doing here in Basingstoke? And how many days has it been on the road?
What day is it, first of all? Well, I'm on tour with Peter Noone and the Trucks and Wane Fontana. And we've had 2 days off this last month. And I thought it was Friday today and it's Thursday. And I'm rushing in there looking for Coronation Street. And it's not the wrong day, isn't it? I don't know what day it is half the time.
Everybody's going down with bugs of some sort. Roger's got food poisoning. You're not too well yourself, you see?
I've had a chest virus for three weeks on Monday. I've had it. And he seems to be going. Then all of a sudden he comes back, you know. The worst thing you can do is if you go on stage and you cough. Because if you start coughing, you can't sing at all.
I saw you a few years back and you were jumping around then. You're still going to be able to jump around tonight with this virus.
Oh yeah, that doesn't affect me at all in that way, you know. It's just that its difficulty is in the tube, you know, when you're singing, you're pushing and you end up with a bad throat in the end. It's a nice happy tour, everybody gets on well with everyone, we're all sharing the same viruses, so we're all mates, and it's smashing. It really is nice to be working, but this is really hard work because it's like, for me in any case, it's 64 days, 64 shows, because I have other work as well. For instance, they've all got Saturday off this week. Well, I haven't. I'm in Blackpool on Saturday. So I go from Bournemouth to Blackpool and then to High Wycombe on Sunday. 2 shows tonight. So it's pretty hectic. Excuse me.
So how many original bands are still in Freddie and the Dreams?
None of them. They're all Japanese copies. No.
Trogs are hanging on in there, just, well, Chris and Reg anyway.
That's right. We've been together 3 years, this particular Dreamer band, and they're very good. And they're also backing Peter as well. So it works out very nice. Nice for Pete.
There's a great resurgence in 60s music. It seems to be in this country, because it was always very big in the USA, with bands like the Kings and all that sort of stuff, and in Germany. But this country seems to have had a big resurgence again.
I don't think it's ever been away. People say about the resurgence and that, but to me, I've been working constantly for the last 30 years, and so we've never really been away. It's only when you're doing big tours like this, people say, oh, there's a resurgence, because people who don't normally go to clubs and that, and come to the theatre possibly, and they're a different audience to what we normally work to, and they say, it's nice to see you back, and I've never really been away, like I've said.
That's right, but you always had a really good act, wasn't it? I mean, you were known for leaping about and all that sort of stuff. It was a really, really good, riveting act, isn't it?
Well, yeah, we were very zany and jumping around, and I'm like, is it Woody Allen? I'm not sure. Yeah, we had an act before we made a record, actually, so I mean, it stood us in good stead. It's always important to have an image, because then otherwise you're only as big as your last record.
It's lasted you very well. Talking about records, what have you been doing recording-wise?
I brought a new cassette out, actually, which is for this tour, and it's called Alive and Kicking. Should be alive and knackered. Right. And we sell it at the front of house and that. And Wane sells his tapes and photographs, and it's a little bit of bunce, isn't it?
There's a lot of local people going to be watching this as well on the network. Tell me about the Trogs. How are they adjusting to this tour, working all these days? How is Reg?
Reg is fine. Well, he's got the runs, otherwise he's fine. Yeah. Yeah, actually, I hadn't seen the Trogs for a long time. And I went backstage, not backstage, I went into the auditorium and watched them when I was in Bristol. And I enjoyed them very much. He's got a nice line of patter. He can be a bit naughty, but I think that is acceptable with Reg and the band, because when they brought their records out in the 60s, they were a little bit risque, weren't they? Yeah. And but I think this particular tour is a success for one reason, because it's something for everyone. Yeah. They've got a good opening band with Wane and the boys, and then you've got the heavy rock with of course with Reg and the Trogs. Then you've got the comedy from ourselves, and then you've got the lightweight, all the pop stuff from Peter. You know the name, the Silver 60s, the Solid Silver 60s tours. You know they got that, don't you? Well, you got the Solid, which is the Trogs. They've got a solid sound. You've got Ray in my group. He's silver, and you got me at 60. So that's it.
Would you do it again? I mean, it's a hectic schedule. I mean, it must. For a 15-year-old, it'd be tiring.
You always accept it, because I think at the end of the day, you never know what's around the corner. And when the work is there, you do it, and you can grumble a lot. You think, oh God, I could do with a day off or whatever. But I'm sure in a month's time, I'll say, I'm glad I did that tour. I might be tired, or I might, but it's money in the bank, and it protects the future for a short while.
So if somebody rang up tomorrow and said there are 150 dates in a consecutive session in America, would you do it?
If the money was right, I would do it, yes. Yeah. I don't know what state I'd be in. I mean, I've only done 30 at the moment. I'm already knackered.
Who's a big boy?
Well, with Easter coming up, and we'll all get our barbecues out, and we want something to drink with them, of course, as well as the usual coffee. So we came down to Oddbins to see what's on offer for this time of the year, and what's selling well, and a few suggestions. And we're going to talk to Russel Bradshaw. Russell, how are you? Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again. I'm very good, thanks.
We only seem to see you at Christmas and Easter and times like that, so we must pop in a little bit more.
Yeah, certainly do that.
What have you got on offer?
Right, got a good selection of wines. As you saw at the front of the shop, got some good value wines. We can go to those in a sec. As you mentioned, barbecue weather. White, sparkling, well, right. I suppose.
Yeah. You're getting a lot of wines, and you seem to be selling a lot from Australia, but now I see a lot here from South Africa. Is that a new thing now?
Quite new, what with the relaxed import regulations. Yeah. Definitely an underrated up-and-coming country. Start at, for instance, whites, $3.49, reds, $3.99 for this Cabernet Sauvignon. Superb wines for the money.
How do they compare to French wines?
Little bit fruitier than the French wines, more tending towards the style of, say, Australian wines that have been very popular lately.
Yeah, Australia seems to be doing very well with wines recently for the last few years anyway.
Extremely good. I think they're getting up to be one of the best-selling countries for wine in the world now.
How's the sparkly wine going? Do you sell much of that?
A lot. It's going to get better. While we're on the topic of Australia, Australian wine there, $4.75, comes in a brut and a rosé version, medium dry, easy drinking, perfect for the barbecue, picnic, that sort of thing.
Good. So as well as Easter eggs, we're going to be getting sparkling wines. You don't sell Easter eggs in here?
I'm afraid not.
No, that's okay. We'll just have the wines instead. Well, this seems an extremely good value. Russell, what do these taste like?
Right, I've got selection 2 whites, 2 reds here. The white side, Leaf and Mouse, $2.29, very good value, medium. Dry white, got Muscadet at $2.75. On the red side, brilliant value, Portuguese, $1.99. It's not vinegar, pretty drinkable.
$1.99, that's
yeah.
extremely cheap.
I can assure you we're hardly making any money on that. Most of it goes to the
a lost leader, as they say.
Chancellor, yeah. And I've got that Côte d'Aron there at $2.79, light, easy drinking red. What with the threat of the supermarkets, with their wines getting cheaper and cheaper, and of course with the cross-channel shopping,
yes,
it's meant that we've had to step up a gear and produce some very good value reds and whites there.
Well, for that price, you needn't go without anything for your barbecue. Look at these prices, incredible. Now, when somebody doesn't know too much about wines, or even don't know about certain labels, they can come in here and taste some of them, can't they?
Yeah, I have a selection of wines on tasting at weekends, Friday evenings, Saturday afternoons. For instance, this weekend, I've got a selection of wine here from £3.50 up to £8.50 on the reds. It's informal, just come in, we'll get people a glass of red or white wine, see what they think.
So what time does that go from till?
Friday evenings 5 till 8, Saturdays 11 till 5.
Oh, that's excellent. So you always know what you're getting.
Yeah.
If you taste something, yeah. That's great. Can we go and have a look at these champagnes now?
Yep, certainly.
You've got quite a good selection of champagne here. Do you sell much of that?
Sell quite a bit. It's not cheap. Start at about $10.99 and upwards. But a lot of people drink nothing but weddings, things like that. It's getting slightly better value. We've got good bulk discounts on it. Most of our champagnes, buy 6, throw in 1 free. So that helps bring the price down a bit.
Especially for weddings and things like that.
Yeah. Easter weekend, from Thursday the 13th through to Monday the 17th, we've got this Perrier Jouet buy 2 for £28. It's extremely good, light, fresh, dry champagne.
You sell much of the sparkling thing as a substitute towards champagne?
Yeah, definitely, because it's about half the price, and we sell as much, if not more, sparkling wines, because it is extremely good value.
It is, yeah, the sparkling wine. It almost tastes the same, really, unless you've got a pretty good palate.
You'd have to drink a lot of champagne, really, to notice when you're being palmed off with sparkly.
Right, indeed, yeah, I think that's happened to me a few times. But this dry...
that dry is very good. Only $12.49 for a name some people might recognise. Again, most people will do the trick.
Well, right, we won't be tasting any this time because it's a bit early in the morning, but maybe we can come in and taste some champagne soon. So, Russell, thanks for your time.
No problem.
And I hope it's not up to Christmas before we see you again.
Yeah, definitely pop in as soon as you can.
Cheers.
Cheers now.
Bye-bye.
Here we are in the empty foyer because everybody's in there watching the show. Second half. A great performance from Wane Fontana, wasn't it?
That's very nice of you to say so.
Absolutely incredible.
Thank you very much indeed.
So, what town are you in tonight? Because nobody knows.
I think we're in Basingstoke tonight.
You are? Yeah, you won the competition.
I've won 10 points. Thank you very much. Give him the prize. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a pretty hectic schedule, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's getting a bit hectic now because we're all... I mean, I'm 38 now. I'm shattered. And we've got 2 shows to do. I'm just hanging around now until 10:30. We do another one.
Yeah, Reg is about 35, isn't he?
Reg is 35, pushing 60. Yeah.
So, is it all over the country, sort of zapping from place to place, or is it quite a sort of...
It feels as though we've done everywhere you can do now, but there's still like another 28 to go. So, I don't know where they're going to send us next.
A great 60s resurgence, I suppose you'd say. Or is that the case? Because I mean, the 60s have always been big in America, with bands like Kinks and Germany, but this country, it's been a bit strange.
I think we had a slack period when the new wave came in and the punk. We really did struggle then. We used to have to do chicken in a basket gigs. You know, those 7-nighters in daft places where people say, "Can you turn down? I can't hear what my husband's saying." And that was sickening. But after all that, there just seemed to be this surge of everybody wanting the 60s. And now they can't get enough of it.
It's brilliant to sell this, tour out 2 months. It's quite amazing.
Well, to sell out and then have to do another show.
Tonight you got another show to do.
It's just been one show, and we're doing another one at 10:30. It's got to finish at past. No, I don't know what they're going to do tonight. I think we'll just go on till about 2 o'clock.
So what have you been up to in these last few years?
Just basically doing this, not on such a grand scale, but we've been doing the Butlins camps, Pontins camps, 60s revivals in Europe, popping over to Australia, America, So we've still been working all the time. It's just that we're not on the telly.
Yeah, just got all today. Well, hopefully that's going to change. And makes a change on this rap artists and all that sort of stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was beginning to sound like my dad saying that music today has got nothing. But even the kids who come to see us now say it is a load of boring.
It is changing a bit.
Can you imagine coming to see a tour in 30 years with all that rap music on? I don't know. I don't think it's going to last.
Yeah.
Might have said that about us, didn't they?
Thanks very much for entertaining everybody in the area.
You're welcome.
Oh, and just one more thing. What do you think of the Trogs? They're a local band. Reg, the Trogs, how are they doing?
I don't know. He's always struggled, Reg, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's a shit. I mean, he's down to his last million.
He is, isn't he? Yeah.
It's a shame for him. He'll probably have to retire next year.
He will if he can keep the pace up.
He's not too well at the moment. I think he's got salmonella. Oh dear. It's been a great, because we all get on so well together. It's been fantastic. I mean, and you say that about most people, but it's phenomenal. It's like you've got Peter Noone from Manchester, Freddie Garrety from Manchester, me from Manchester, and we just all hate Reg.
Well, on that note, Steve, Reg will be watching this later, so it's good night from Wayne, it's good night from me. See you later.
Would you show your whites to the rest of Britain? The Dares Doorstep Challenge is here to ask just that. Wow, that was a reaction.
Oh, dear me.
I'm Danny Baker, by the way.
Had I known, I would have put some makeup on, I would have come back.
The challenge is, how white are your whites? Have you got something you could show us now?
Well, I'm just busy ironing at the moment. Daughter's vest. Is that okay?
Would that take much cleaning?
Well, there have been times when she sort of sat in her underwear and drank juice and it's gone down the front.
Oh, well, proof right there, I'd have said. I don't have to guess which powder you use, do I?
Das.
I was ahead of you there. Would your whites pass the Dares Doorstep Challenge? Anne's did.
How far underground does a tube go? How does an orange peel when it has a crispy shell? I wonder what melts in the milk chocolate now. Is this the Red Sea, or am I just seeing red?
Only smarties have the answer.
Brighten up the scene. B&Q it.
That's what I call lean.
B&Q it. You can do it when you B&Q it. When it's time for new. B&Q it. We can fit it too. B&Q it. You can do it when you B&Q it. Going to make it yours. B&Q it.
There's so many doors.
B&Q it. You can do it when you B&Q it.
Which fabric conditioner gives a freshness this good? Everybody feels good in Lenore.
Right, we've come to Ludgershall to meet Mark and Jane Smith, and we're in the Queen's Head. How are you doing, folks?
Hello, Tony. How you doing?
Pretty good. We've known one another quite a while. You used to have another establishment somewhere around.
That's right. Just outside of Andover, and we've moved here over the last 2 years.
For 2 years?
Yeah, we've been here for 2 years now, Tony.
So you started off at one pub and now you got the two. Which one did you start on first?
That's right. We moved into the Crown about 3 years ago, and then we took on the Queen's 2 years ago.
The business is good?
Oh, we've been very lucky. Yeah.
Jane, what sort of food do you do here?
We do all sorts of food here. We do everything ranging from a sandwich to a T-bone steak. We also have a Mexican menu.
What is the Mexican menu? What's the most popular one you have?
The most popular thing we do on the Mexican menu is the barbecued ribs.
Barbecue ribs? Spicy, is it?
Yeah, very spicy. It's all very spicy food.
That's just to make people drink more, isn't it?
That's right, Tony, yeah.
You have a lot of customers here, because I came in here yesterday, it was packed out at lunchtime. So is the trade good all the time?
Yeah, yes. The locals use the place very frequently, and it's always quite full.
And you've got a nice garden at the back for kids.
That's right, yeah. It's completely closed in with a little pond inside and fish, and the kids like to go up and play, with the rabbits and everything. So, yeah, they
You've got some rabbits out there?
Yeah, one or two. Probably have more later on, Tony.
Not on the menu, are they?
No, they're not on the menu.
No, not yet, Tony, because they won't fit in the pies properly.
Jane, I believe you've got some refurbishments happening here in the near future.
Yes, we have. We're increasing the size of the restaurant from a 22-seater to a 45-seater, and we are building a new catering kitchen out the back because of the increase in business.
Do you get a lot of passing trade coming through?
We do have a lot of passing trade, but it's mostly seasonal. It's through the summer and bank holidays and things. Yeah, a lot of it is local trade, though.
Talking about bank holidays, you got something on this weekend, something to do with sleuths or something like that, is it?
That's right, Tony. On Bank Holiday Monday, we're going to have a Cluedo hunt.
What does that involve?
Well, it's what it actually involves is similar to the game of Cluedo, where the actually teams of 4 to 5 people go out and try and solve the crime. And they sort of run all over the village and generally have a good time, meeting different characters and finding bits of information out and coming back to the pub and producing it.
How many teams can you have in this? As many as you want?
Well, as many as we want, yeah. It's unlimited, really.
So if somebody wants to enter into this, what's your telephone number here?
Well, the telephone number to ring is obviously Andover, and that's 790-334.
I seem to find myself in pubs in every programme, but I'm not complaining about that. And there's a great selection of real ales here. Mark, what real ales have you got?
Well, we've got a selection of 4 at the moment, Tony. We've got the 6X, which is a Wadworth brew, and we've got the Barleycorn, which is another Whitbread brew. We've got Spitfire, which is quite a newish brew, which has won a lot of awards just lately. And the new one out is the Scarlet Lady.
What's the Scarlet Lady? It's just come out, you say?
Yeah, it's
Juniper Ale.
It's a brew that Whitbreads are doing, along with 3 or 4 others, one each month, to just promote real ale.
And Spitfire, was that out for VE Day or D-Day? Or
Yeah, I think it did come out round about D-Day time, and it's just been so good it's ran on through. Although there are some more coming out, which are going to be special brews, like there's the Dam Buster brew coming out shortly. But there's all sorts of real ales coming.
Jane, you don't pull many pints here, do you? You concentrate more on the cooking, don't you?
No, I don't. I put a lot of pints here.
Well, in that case, you might be able to pour me a half. So I'd love to have a try of this Spitfire. Can I have a small bit?
A half?
Oh, yes.
I'm not used to pulling half.
Would you look at that? Isn't that lovely? Oh, it's great. Wonderful stuff. Well, here's to you guys. Cheers.
Cheers, sir.
Very rarely see something as crystal clear as that. What's your cellar like here? Is it good?
It's a very good cellar, yes. It's quite small, but it's very cool, and it's all up to the right temperature. So it does come up very clear.
One of the main features here in the Queen's Head is a magnificent fireplace and a terrific fire going. Mark, where did this fireplace come from?
They say the fireplace come from the old castle just up the road. It's dated about 1508, 1510. It precedes the actual building, which they say is about 1620. So it's quite an old fireplace.
Somebody was saying here in Ludgershall that an awful lot of the castle has disappeared, and it's in the buildings around the place, and the further you get away, the less there is from the castle. Bricks and whatever it is they build them with.
Well, they think that's quite true. They went up the castle and pinched quite a lot of it and built the houses and their little barns and cottages. I suppose saved a lot of money on building materials.
Yeah, well, you got the major thing here, this fireplace, so come along and have a look at this one.
Yeah, I guess we got there first.
Right, we're outside Mark's other pub, where he has the bands. Have you got many bands playing here?
Yeah, we have live music every Friday and most Saturdays. Coming up, we've got the Burley Band, which are
they local then?
Yes, they are. They're local. They play irregular. They're a good sound. Also, on Good Friday, we've got the Love Spuds, which are...
Love Spuds?
Yeah, Love Spuds. they're a new band here. On the 15th, which is the following Saturday, Odd Comment, which are one of the better bands. You know, they are a really good sound.
Yeah, they seem to play around Andover quite a lot.
Yeah, they do. I mean, that's where we found them, and they're good enough to come out and play regular for us. Later on in the month, we've got the Raiders, Fraggle Rock, which are a Salisbury band, and on Friday the 29th, we've got a band called High Voltage Bollards.
We won't talk about that one. We'll have to bleep out that name.
But they're a very good entertaining duo. Very good entertainment.
Well, maybe we get along to see them one of these days.
That'd be good.
Mark, thanks very much. Now watch out for, because what we'll be doing, we'll be putting a list of bands each month that's coming to play here. So watch out for that. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you very much, Tony.
The good weather continues in Andover. We're having some, in fact, great weather here. We are stood outside the Guildhall. And behind me is the Women's Institute Market. Look, they're busy selling lots of plants Friday morning here in Andover. Got some really nice stuff. Let's just go and have a quick word with this gentleman around here, Steve. Morning, how are you? We're Town TV, what are you doing?
What am I doing? Well, I'm helping out at the Women's Institute stall.
You do this every Friday morning, is it?
Every Friday. We started today and we'll go on till October.
Really?
Yep.
Sorry, what was your name?
John Scase.
Hello, John. Good morning to you. So, we're Town TV, your local cable network station.
Town TV, oh, I don't get that, you see, so I shan't see myself, shall I?
I expect somebody will tell you anyway. Yeah. Where do you live, in Andover?
No, in Abbottstown.
Well, it's coming that way, I think.
Oh, yes.
So you're selling lots of plants this morning?
That's right, yes, yeah. We have producers from all over, and most people come in to bring in produce to help with the sales, yeah.
Well, it's great. It's good to see something going on in Andover anyway on a Friday morning.
Oh, yes, for a long time, yes, yeah.
Well, smashing. They were our viewers, so if you want to come along to the Women's Institute stands...
You mustn't keep away from my customers.
No, you can go and take some money, John. Thanks for talking to us. Well, there we are, you see. Things do happen in Andover. Anyway, it's quiz time. We've had some fantastic responses to our quizzes, and especially the flying one of last week. The answers to the flying question were, question one could have been a Hurricane or a Spitfire, or a few other aircraft actually, but mainly the Spitfire or Hurricane. The second answer was 4 engines on a Boeing 747. And of course the last one, there are quite a few different answers to this. The last one, question 3, was the Wright brothers. So those are the 3 answers. And Steve, or maybe I get somebody to put their hand in this hat. Take one of those little tickets out of there and see who's won this flying lesson.
Mary May. You want the telephone number?
Mary May? No, that's fine. She's actually won the competition. So there we are. Mary May, you won a flying lesson around Andover. So how about that? Steve and I did it. It's absolutely great fun. So hope you're not too nervous. We weren't, were we, Steve, really? No. Anyway, a new competition this week. And all these lovely garden plants on show, I suppose it's quite a good link into the next competition, which is a meal for two at Le Jardinier over at Micheldever. Beautiful French restaurant over there. And again, we've got 3 questions for you. The first question is, and it's, I suppose you could say it's, well, it is edible. Yes, of course they're edible, but anyway, you may find them somewhere else. What does escargot mean? What's the French word escargot? What does that mean? The second word, name the famous river that runs through Paris. Oh, there we are. That was a simple one, wasn't it? I think we're going mad here, Steve. But anyway, that's a little tenuous pun. The river that goes through Paris. So the first question, what does the French word escargot mean? Second question, river through Paris. And the third question, much more difficult, this one. Who was a famous French lady singer nicknamed the Sparrow? Who was a famous French lady singer nicknamed the Sparrow? So there we go, 3 questions. Escargot, river through Paris, and the name of the French lady singer nicknamed the Sparrow. If you think you know the answers to those 3 questions, ring us now on 333-983, 333-983, and you could win a wonderful meal for 2 up at Le Jardinier, which is a beautiful French restaurant just near Micheldever. So fantastic prize there. And well done to Mary May for winning the flying competition. That was really great. So take it away, Steve. See you back in the studio. Bye for now. Oh, and keep on supporting the Women's Institute down at Andover, outside the Guildhall, every Friday morning. There we go, 8:30 to 11:45. Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's show. As I say, it's all happening in... I don't believe this. Look, Mr. Ken Dykes again. We can't go anywhere, can we, these days? We keep bumping into each other.
We must stop meeting like this.
So what's been happening? I saw you in Basingstoke.
Yes, thoroughly enjoyed the concert. As we said, it looked like being a very good one, and certainly was.
How was Reg in the end? Because I left before you. Was he all right?
Reg was okay, yeah. He'd had that awful tummy bug, which didn't help him on stage at all, but he kept going like a true professional. Yeah. Terrific performance. I thought the whole evening was very, very good.
Good theatre, the Anvil, over in Basingstoke, isn't it?
Very good indeed. If only we had one in Andover.
Just what I was going to say.
Beat you to it.
Yeah. So what are you doing in Andover High Street?
Well, it's Friday morning. Yeah. My newspaper's on the streets being sold, hopefully, the Andover Advertiser folks. And I'm just wandering around, and, you know, I do my usual little wander around on a Friday morning just to make sure the town's still here and see what's happened. Over the past week, I've been stuck in the office all week, so I thought I'd have a little look around and see what's going on.
Yeah, we've been talking to the Women's Institute market. That's flourishing there.
Absolutely, yeah, terrific. I'm told there are people who actually exist on Women's Institute markets. I met a lady only the other night at a function, and she said she never does any cooking, goes to the Women's Institute market every Friday morning and gets all her food for the week.
Absolutely amazing. Well, also, another market may be reopening over there. Well, a slightly bigger one. Tesco's, I believe. I was reading today in your paper.
Absolutely, yes. That looks very good news. If Tesco can actually reopen in the town centre. That unit's now been empty for 3-4 years, and it's at the entrance to the Chantry Centre. Prime position. It ought to have something in it, and golly, it looks as if it might have something in it again now, doesn't it?
Yeah. We had a letter through in the week from the Hampshire County Council who are trying to raise the vision of Hampshire, the economic vision of Hampshire, which was quite interesting. They're talking about making a new video and putting stuff into print about Hampshire. That's quite good, isn't it?
That sounds a good idea. Are you going to be involved in that?
Well, who knows? We're putting in a quote for it, so maybe we'll get Reg to do something for Hampshire.
Yeah, why not? Perhaps I can do some copywriting.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for watching the show. We're going to sign off now, and nice to bump into Ken in the middle of the high street, and we're getting lots of things saying no. Well, it's goodbye from Ken.
Goodbye, Alan. Goodbye, Town TV.
And it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from Steve on camera. We're now going back to Basingstoke and Peter Noone. So see you next week, Andover.
Thanks very much indeed.
Okay.
See you again soon.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Winchester Street, Andover, the Eastern Eye Indian restaurant. Come down and see Ali and his friendly staff and try the best Indian food the area has to offer. Open lunchtimes from 12 till 2:30 and evenings from 6 till 12:30. For takeaways or reservations, phone Andover 355 210. That's 355 210.
Andover has a great new meeting place for lunchtimes or evenings. Simon's Wine Bar in the historic White Hart Hotel in Bridge Street serves delicious bar meals and fine wines. Stay the night in one of our 20 bedrooms or eat in style in our sumptuous restaurant. And for that special reception, our function room is available at excellent rates. Call the White Hart Hotel now on Andover 352266. 352266. The Sweet Shop is the shop that likes to say no. No to no deposit. No interest, no payments until 1996, and above all, no hassle. For expert assistance and advice, come along and talk to Vic or Jeff at The Sweet Shop on the Dolphin Trading Estate, Salisbury. That's Salisbury 0722 326 702. 0722 326 702. Well, welcome to the Anvil at Basingstoke. We're with Peter Noone.
Hello, how are you?
How are you?
Extremely well.
First time you've been in England for a long time, is that right? Touring?
Touring, yeah. I come every year on holiday, every March and April, and this year, instead of being on holiday, I'm on a tour, which is more fun than a holiday.
So where are you living now?
I live in this small town in California called Santa Barbara. I've lived there for about 10 years.
Absolutely fantastic. What made you move to America?
Work. They offered me lots of work over there, and that's where I had to go. Because I couldn't commute all the time backwards and forwards to England.
It's okay, don't worry. We've got guys going in and out, don't worry. Very busy tour. I mean, it is a busy tour. I mean, tonight's double booking tonight, isn't it?
Double booking? What? Oh, two shows. Yeah, well, you know, now I'm sort of half American, so I look forward to doing two shows. I always think that you can have twice as much fun and play to twice as many people. I look forward to doubles.
We were filming over in Las Vegas. Was it Wane, Newton? And that was quite amazing.
Yeah, we did. We film everywhere, yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. So, the 60s, nostalgia time, or is it great being back on the road with all these bands, or what? Or have you changed the act totally? I haven't seen the act yet.
You know what it is because it's so long since I've played in England. I hadn't seen Freddie or Wane for 25 years, and I'd met the Trogs once in like 1968 in Montgomery, Alabama. So I didn't really know them. So it's good. It's all good people on the tour, which is important. Otherwise, I'd be gone already. It's a good bunch of guys, you know. So it's all friendly and fun. I have a TV show on a cable company called VH1, which is a national cable company, and it's about 40 million people watch every week, so it's sort of like being Michael Aspel of America, you know.
So you can't walk down the street anywhere, I guess.
You can always walk down the street, you know, like Paul McCartney taught me. If you just walk down the street without two minders and things like that, you can go, I'd do anything that I want to do in America. I mean, people recognize, but it's all very nice. They go, oh, how are you doing? I love the show. You know, it's not, ah!
You said that Herman's Hermits, you know, were touring, but there was nobody in the band. I mean, what are the rest of the band, the old band, doing now?
You know, I don't know. Barry, the drummer's still around, and one of them died. Derek Leckenby died. Everyone seems to have somebody in the band who's died now. And one of them has a recording studio in Manchester that's very successful, and one of them is in Shepperton or somewhere like that, has a plumbing business. He's decided to go make some real money.
Talking about recording, you're going to be recording anything on the back of this tour?
I had a record out in December. It was difficult to get it out in time in England because it's all a little bit... You know, I remember when you made records on Monday and they were in the shop on Friday. Now it's a bit more complicated. And this tour sort of came together pretty quickly. We talked about it for 2 years, and in my book, that's quickly. So we didn't have time to prepare a record. I wanted to test the water. Maybe next time I come back, get a record out.
Well, I want you to be very honest now, because there's a lot of local viewers watching this, and of course the Trogs are on this tour. Now, how's Reg? Reg's got a bit of food poisoning tonight, I believe.
Something like that. He's had it for a couple of days, you know. Yeah. They like those cooked dinners and everything. You know, and I think they got a dodgy one somewhere. Yeah. But we're having a good time. You wouldn't tell. I mean, if you didn't tell them, you wouldn't know. If they hadn't told me, I wouldn't know they were sick, because the show's exactly the same.
Love is all around. That's pretty big for Reg, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Is he still talking to everybody?
Yeah, he's funny about that. Hey, listen, we've all had successes, we've all had failures, you know. It's nice. I much prefer success over failure. I wish him many more.
He's done really well on that.
You might get the money he loaned me back.
That's the point, yeah. Well, anyway, it's great to see you. Thanks ever so much for talking to us. We're going to try and catch a bit from the side of the wing, so we'll see you later.